Hello everyone! So I thought it was time for another Redrawing Your Art video. I've got really great response on the last one I did, and I'm so happy to see that so many of you wanted it as a series, because I think it is a really fun way to collab with you guys. So I'm gonna try to recreate two of your drawings today, so stay tuned for the second one. So the first drawing I chose to redraw is this lovely gal by jl_art_.happy, and this really reminds me of my old art. I used to do a lot of stuff like this. I love the different textures and patterns, the style and the squares and sharper edges mixed with the rounder, softer shapes. Also, this video is sponsored by Pilot Nordic, so thank you. So I'm gonna use Pilot products for today's drawings, and I really wanted to play around with the Pilot fineliners and brush pens. So the pens I'm gonna use today are the Pilot drawing pens that comes in a bunch of different sizes, the G207 white gel pen, Pilot calligraphy pens that comes in two different brush nibs, and lastly I will use some Pilot printer paint markers. And of course, as usual, the Pilot color in a mechanical pencil. So I mentioned it last time, but I might as well say it again since it was a while ago. My intention is not to critique or judge your art. I simply just want to challenge myself to try to recreate someone else's art in my own style and see how I interpret the art piece. It is just a fun thing where I can interact more with you guys, and you have the chance to see what your art will look like in someone else's style, like a collab. So if you have an art piece that you would like to see me try to recreate in a video, post your art on Instagram or Twitter and use the hashtag #drawthiskattvalk, and I might pick yours next time. And it can be any kind of art. It can be a finished piece or a sketch that you want to see me finish, anything really, but it has to be your own art. So let's talk a little about this piece. I noticed I mainly used the 0.3 fineliner to fill in all the lines, and then I went over the line work again to add in more line weight. And as I said before, this piece really reminds me of what I used to draw a lot like 7, 8, 10 years ago. A lot of lines and different textures, mainly only in fineliners and occasionally some little splash of color. So it was really fun to revisit this kind of art that is more simple in some way, but it is still very detailed and intricate. The most challenging part with this piece was definitely the hair. I don't think that my dreads turned out as interesting and nice as the original artist, but I still like them. But drawing them nearly killed my hand. I mean, I can sit and draw for quite a long time, but there is something with drawing a repetitive pattern like this. My hand got really sore really quickly. And drawing this also reminded me of how badly I wanted my own dreads when I was younger. Not the real ones, but synthetic ones that you braid into your own hair. I even bought a bunch of them to put in, but the quality was so bad that when I tried to braid them into my hair, they just unraveled themselves and fell into pieces. So yeah, that's the story of my dreads day. I love the solid black areas in this piece. I like the contrast. For the eyebrows and lips and earplugs, I used the calligraphy brush pen, the one with a smaller nib. They are not waterproof, so I warn you, but it is super pigmented and smooth to draw with, and I really enjoyed working with it. By the way, go check out Pilot Nordic's Instagram page if you haven't already. They post a bunch of inspirational pictures, and every Tuesday they have a new giveaway where you have the chance to win their supplies and products. Lastly, I wanted to replicate the yellow squares or boxes in the background, and for that I used the yellow Pinter paint marker. And this, I think, really brought this piece together. I love the little splash of color that brightens up the piece and makes it feel a little more finished. The solid color of the Pinter marker really fits with this drawing. I really love how this one came out, as you can tell. So thank you JL Art Happy for letting me try to recreate your artwork. Let me know how you think I did. The other piece I want to try to recreate today is this amazing skull lady made by Too Tired. I can relate. This piece really speaks to me. I love the galaxy looking background and the a bit creepy but still peaceful character with a skull and claw hands, and I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun drawing the hair. So I'm kind of using the same techniques as in the first drawing. I first fill in all the lines with a fineliner and then I add in all the details. And to get rid of the sketch under the line work afterwards, I use a kneaded eraser. It is a little like clay in the consistency and you can shape it however you like. I like to roll it into a snake shape and then roll it over the paper to pick up the graphite under the line work, or you can just dab it on the paper. I like to use this kind of eraser instead of a normal one because when you're rubbing with a normal eraser over the line art, the ink often fade a little. The kneaded eraser is much more gentle to the ink and the line art, so that's a little tip for you if you haven't heard of it before. Anyways, this skull lady has like a gradient starting in a dark gray tone on her hands and fades out on her upper underarms, and I scribbled with the calligraphy pen on a piece of plastic and got this little pool of ink that I could use to create this gradient. These pens are so juicy, so it was no problem at all transferring the ink to the plastic. Then I added the ink to the drawing with a small paintbrush. I also added a little bit of the diluted ink to the skull and her body to add in a little bit of shading and textures. The hair was definitely the most time-consuming part, but I also really enjoyed it. It was a very meditative process. I did struggle a little in the beginning though. I was trying to figure out how to draw the hair. In the original piece, the lines goes parallel next to each other, creating this kind of organized striped pattern, which looks great. But I personally wanted it a little more organic, but still stylized and still kind of true to the original. But I noticed the more I thought about it, the more confused I got, so I just started to draw and hope it would turn out decent. And it isn't perfect in my opinion, since I'm not used to drawing patterns like this, but as I went on drawing, I gradually started to figure out how I wanted to draw the lines to get a nice flow in the hair, and I'm actually quite happy with how it turned out. I really like the detailed hair against the more solid and not very detailed body. And I think I said this the last time too, but I believe that drawing your drawings is a really good exercise for me. I get to rediscover art styles that I used to love and get to try out new ones too that I haven't tried. I also get to draw things I haven't drawn before and find out about new things that I like to draw. There are so many of you that have shared your art with me under the Draw This Kattvalk hashtag, and I'm so impressed that there are so many unique and inspiring art pieces. I really hope that you like this video so that I can continue this as a series, because there are so many of your drawings that I would like to draw myself. So the last thing I did was filling in the space background. I used the calligraphy pens once again and I'm still amazed by how pigmented they are. I also added a second space circle thing, just as in the original. I first thought it would be too much with the hair and all, but after adding the first one it felt a little top heavy. So I ended up making the bottom one as well, and I love how the intense black background frames the skull lady and brings out the details in her hair even more. So thank you, I'm Too Tired, for letting me recreate your artwork. It was a lot of fun and I love the outcome. Gosh, you guys inspire me so much. You're so freaking talented. I hope you loved this video, and if so, please leave a like or a comment or both and let me know if I should make another video in this series. Perhaps it will be something more colorful next time, I don't know, we'll see. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new here, and click on that little bell icon to get notified every time I post new art and videos, and I will see you next time. Keep drawing, my happy cat. Bye!